Echo Alert: Climate Change by Rebecca Hunter. Extreme weather. What is happening to the world's weather? From all parts of the globe, reports are coming in of strange weather events that have never happened before. On August 16, 2024, the villages of Boscasto and Crackington Haven in Cornwall in England experienced flash floods, torrential rainfall, 1 inch, 24 millimeters, in just 15 minutes, led to a 6-foot, 2-meter rise in river levels in an hour, a 10-foot, 3-meter wave traveling almost 10 miles per hour, 16 kilometers, surged down the main road, wrecking stores and houses, uprooting trees, and carrying cars out to sea. A heap of cars in the village of Boscasto, Cornwall, after the flood in August 2004. Hurricane Katrina was one of the 5 deadliest hurricanes in the history of the United States. The hurricane formed over the Bahamas, crossed Florida, and then strengthened rapidly over the Gulf of Mexico. On the morning of August 29, 2005, Katrina hit New Orleans, flooding more than 80% of the city. Its wind speeds reached 170 miles per hour, 280 kilometers, and at least 1,830 people lost their lives. In February 2009, wildfires swept through the state of Victoria in southern Australia, destroying entire towns. More than 1,800 houses were burnt down, leaving 7,000 people homeless. The fires caused such extensive damage because the land was very dry, following a week of unusual, extremely hot weather. Daily temperatures had been almost 115 Fahrenheit degrees, 45 Celsius, every day of the preceding week, and even the nighttime temperatures never dropped below 86 Fahrenheit degrees, 30 Celsius. Extreme weather events like these have always occurred from time to time, but many places now seem to be experiencing them on a more regular basis. Some areas are hotter, some are drier, the storms are much stronger, and the rain more torrential. Is the world's climate actually changing? Why is it happening, and what can we do about it? Hurricane Katrina swirls over the Gulf of Mexico shortly before hitting southern coast of the U.S. on August 29, 2005. Firefighters battled with bushfires in southern Victoria in Australia in February 2009. What is climate? Climate is the average weather in a place over a long period of time. Many things combine to create the climate of a place. How much sunshine it gets, how close to the equator it is, how high it is, and how close to the sea. Air, ice, water, and even living things all play a part. The climate system. The movement of the heat and water around the air, water, and land is called the climate system. It starts with the sun warming the earth, which then warms the atmosphere. The atmosphere keeps the earth from becoming too hot or too cold. Water is constantly moving between the land and the atmosphere. It evaporates from the oceans, lakes, and rivers and forms clouds and returns to the ground as rain, snow, or hail. The atmosphere keeps the earth from becoming too hot or too cold. The sun heats the ocean and land. Ice sheets, snow, and sea ice reflects sunlight. Water evaporates, then falls as rain, snow, or hail. The earth gives out heat as the sun warms it up. Climate zones. The surface of the earth can be divided into different zones or biomes, depending on what climate it has, between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn is an area known as the tropics. Climates here can be hot and wet, as in tropical rainforests, or hot and dry, as in the Sahara Desert. As you go farther away from the equator, the climate gets cooler. These areas have temperature climates characterized by grasslands and forests. For example, the taiga biome stretches across a larger part of Canada, Europe, and Asia. It consists of mainly coniferous forests. In this biome, summers are short and mild, and the winters are long, cold, and dry. The areas around the North and South Pole have frozen polar climates. Although they can be very sunny in summer, the temperature never rises above freezing. Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricorn. The human effect. Many factors can cause the Earth's climate to change. Usually, these changes take place over thousands of years. Today, scientists believe that the actions of humans are causing our climate to alter in much faster way. Before we can consider if this is true, we need to look at how the Earth's climate has changed in the past and the natural causes of climate change. The savanna biome covers much of Central Africa. It consists of grasslands with bushes and low trees. History of Earth's climate. In the past, the climate on Earth was sometimes very different to that of today. At times it was much hotter, at others much colder. In the Jurassic period, more than 100 million years ago, average temperatures were about 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius, compared to 59 Fahrenheit, 15 Celsius today. And dinosaurs roamed the planet during the last ice age. 18,000 years ago, nearly half the earth was frozen, and animals such as saber-tooth, tigers, and woolly mammoths lived in Europe, North America. Different types of evidence show us what past climates were like. Democ- documentary evidence. Any writing or drawing left behind by people is known as documentary evidence. Stone Age paintings in caves in the Sahara Desert shows that during the Ice Age, temperatures were much cooler there. The Little Ice Age was a period of cooling around the time of the 17th century. We know about this from written records and paintings from this time. Cave paintings such as this depicts a mammoth in the cave in France can tell us what the climate was like in this area more than 10,000 years ago. Raflagic Cave. Rocky evidence. By looking at the layers of sedimentary rock, we can find out what the climate was like when they were formed and learned about the plants and animals that lived then. Coal forms over millions of years in hot tropical swamps. The fossilized remains of ancient plants and animals suggest the sort of climate that they must have lived in. Deep beneath Illinois and Kentucky are the fossilized remains of a huge tropical rainforest that existed more than 3 million years ago. The rocks in the Grand Canyon in Arizona allow us to look back at more than 20 million years of geological history. What causes climate change? Earth's current climate is the result of many forces that have been at work since the planet was formed more than 4 billion years ago. The greenhouse effect. The Earth is heated by solar energy from the sun. Much of this solar heat is absorbed by the land and water on Earth. Some of it is reflected back into space by cloud gases and the Earth's surface. A small number of gases are able to trap heat around the Earth. This trapping of heat is called the greenhouse effect because it works in the same way as a greenhouse. Thanks to the greenhouse effect, the Earth has a climate that is warm enough for us to live in. Solar energy, trapped heat, escaping heat, greenhouse gases, heat reflected by greenhouse gases. Sunspots. Sunspots are dark areas on the surface of the sun that appear regularly. They reach a peak about every 11 years. At present, they show that the sun is the coolest, and it has been for nearly 100 years. Some scientists believe that extremes of temperature on Earth may be linked to the sunspot cycle. Volcanoes and meteorites. If there is an increase in dust and gas in the atmosphere, the sun can be blocked out for weeks, months, or even years, leading to a change in climate. Many people believe that the mass extinctions of animals, including the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago was caused by a giant meteorite hitting the Earth. The meteorite estimate size was about 6 miles, 10 kilometers in diameter. The dust and particles thrown upward when the meteorite hits Earth would have blocked the sunlight for many years. Volcanic eruptions can also cause cooler weather. The eruption in 1991 of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines led to a decrease in average world temperatures of almost 2 Fahrenheit, 1 Celsius for the next 2 years. All these background forces have combined help formed our present climate. But is there now another force at work today? Are the actions of humans altering our climate too? Feedback systems. Ice reflects sunlight well. The more ice there is on Earth, the more heat is reflected back into space. This keeps the planet cool, so more ice can form and more heat can be reflected. This is a type of feedback system, and it gets this name because the effect of an action feeds back and affects the cause. Global warming. The gases in the atmosphere that keep the Earth warm are known as greenhouse gases. They include carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and water vapor. Many of these gases are produced by human activities and industrial processes, by our homes, and by all forms of transportation. If enough of these pollutant gases are added to the atmosphere, the greenhouse effect will increase, causing temperatures to rise. This is called global warming, and it affects every country in the world. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a very effective greenhouse gas that makes up only 0.03% of the atmosphere. When fossil fuels are burned in power plants, large amounts of carbon dioxide are released into the atmosphere, and its levels are now rising rapidly. 12% other transportation, 33% power plants, 33% factories and homes, 22% cars and trucks. Energy saving store. Lightning and temperature levels are reduced to share in our community efforts to reduce global warming. Hotspot, saving energy. A sign outside a store in New Zealand shows how some businesses are changing the way they heat and light their premises to help counteract the effects of global warming. Here's the sign. Ice core samples. The amount of carbon dioxide in past atmospheres can be measured from ice core samples. These studies have shown that for most of the last 650,000 years, the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has always been below 300 parts per million. The level of carbon dioxide today has risen to 370. This recent increase in carbon dioxide has been mirrored by a rise in average world temperatures. This has risen by more than 1.8 Fahrenheit since the 1850s. If this rise continues, some estimates that temperatures could increase by more than 9 Fahrenheit by the end of the 21st century. Scientists can drill into polar ice and take sample of ice dating back hundreds of thousands of years, looking at the gases trapped in these samples and comparing them to the air in the atmosphere today. Gives them an idea of the climate in previous years. This enables them to measure the effects of global warming. Here's a bar graph. Carbon footprint is a measure of the amount of carbon dioxide produced by a person, organization, or country in a given time. Industrialized countries have much higher carbon footprints than those in developing ones. USA, Germany, and Japan. How can you help? Figure out your carbon footprint. See page 31. And then try and reduce it. You could walk or cycle more to reduce car trips and take vacations locally to reduce air flights. Or plant a tree. A large tree will absorb approximately 44 pounds, 20 kilograms of carbon dioxide per year. And we will stop here. So I left off at oceans and climates. I will continue to read this the following day.